Cameron Parish Police Jury's agenda morning session, Monday, June 3rd, 2024. Come to order. Mr. Michael will lead us in the pledge. All right. CH, Mr. Baker.
Thank you. Thank you all for giving me a moment here today. So we have been contracted with the Environmental Defense Fund to do a community engagement project surrounding the non-structural risk reduction program, basically home elevations and why participation hasn't been that great. So we've been contracted with EDF and we've partnered with UNO. Again, the primary goal here is to explore community perspectives on the non-structural home elevations that's been provided by the state and other federal agencies. So one of the main objectives is to understand the community's attitude towards the non-structural measures and identify any barriers or incentives for community support for these programs. So we're gonna research this and ultimately develop a final report of findings with actual recommendations on how to bolster support and bolster participation in these programs. So I'm here today to ask you guys for assistance in identifying and connecting with key stakeholders within the parish and local officials, community organizers, and residents who have either participated in the program or in need of home elevations and how to break that barrier to get them into the program. So our hope is to engage like about 16 to 20 individuals for an in-person focus group, and then we'll also be developing a survey for people that don't want to, participate in person. So if if you've got folks that are unwilling to attend in person and just want to get their opinion heard, we will also have an avenue for that. I could give you my contact information, and if you've got folks that have reached out to you specifically, I'd love to hear from them. And then if you yourselves have had to deal with that, or any businesses I work a good bit with Kara. She's given me some recommendations already, but yeah, if you would, if you want to go through me or Kara, I'd love to get that information so we can figure out how to get more people involved with this. Thank y'all. If y'all have any questions, let me know. I'll be around.
Any questions, Jeff?
Thank you.
Barry, you want to go with the green? All right, Mr. Gray, got your say?
Hello, my name is Greg Goshasan. Appreciate the time today. I'm the owner of 143 Joe Rutherford Road. And we had received a few months back a condemnation letter on that property. Clearly the property was destroyed and the house is not habitable after Hurricane Laura. But we've been making some progress towards a whole rebuild there in that area. As I'm sure if you guys have been by there, you can tell we do keep it up. It's not a nuisance. We keep the grass cut. It's not overgrown, those type of things. But we've been in the process of acquiring other properties nearby us. That's all going to be part of our kind of redevelopment, you will, of that kind of estate site. That was my personal residence while I was down here in Cameron before. It will remain that way. And so what I'd like to see if we can take no further action from the jury on the condemnation side until December 31st, which I think we'll have it all completed by then, probably before, but give me a little bit of breathing room to get the other properties acquired and get the structure taken down. We're going to keep the foundation piece to it, just the top structure will come down. So I'd like to make that request. And if there's any questions I can answer right now, I'll be happy to.
Yeah, Mr. Gregg, are you planning on taking the trailer down? I understand you want to leave the pilings, which I think that's been a burden because a lot of people could do, you know, the FEMA cleanup stuff, but they're going to go down 100%. With most people, they want to leave their pilings because, you know, that's where the majority of the money is. So I totally understand, and I'm almost 100% sure we'll be willing to work with you for you to leave the pilings and that. It's just I think after going on almost 4 years, Miss Robin brought it to our attention, or at least my attention in my area. We got quite a few of these homes, and we're just looking to get started, not really push, but, you know, just start moving forward to get Cameron Parish looking better again, you know. So.
Yeah, as it relates to the pilings, definitely those are going to stay. Our plan is to build conventional construction on top of the existing pile foundation that's there. You know, as for timing, we have a lot of assets in this parish. It took us a long time to get through many of them, and this unfortunately is one of the ones that just came to the end. And but our plan, it's been on our plan for this year to get it done. So we definitely will get it removed by the end of the year.
Yeah, Mr. Gregg, and I just recommend that just stay in contact with Miss
Okay.
Robin. You know, she's our go-to person for that. And I don't see any reason why the jury wouldn't be able, and the police jury wouldn't be able to work with you along the way, just as long as we're moving forward.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Dupuy?
Gentlemen, good morning. I'd like to take your time to give you a briefing as the coroner on the drowning status we have here in the parish. As you may be aware, this past Monday, Memorial Day, we had a fatal drowning on Rutherford Beach. Though it was the first fatal drowning on Rutherford Beach, it's the 5th drowning we've had in the last 14 months. Unfortunately, the coroner's records only go back to 2016. Prior to that, Dr. Sanders was in office. Everything was hard copy, so we can't go back further than 2016. But since then, in the parish, we've had a total of 10 fatal drownings. The unfortunate aspect is, in my medical opinion, all were preventable. Further, we have a cure for it, but again, we don't. Let me just explain. Of the 10 drownings we've had, 4 of them over the last years were in our intercoastal areas. That is not in the Gulf, but in our waterways, Pelican Point, Mermentau. Of those 4 deaths, none of the 4 individuals had a life jacket. Not going into details, but if you can't swim and you're on a fishing boat in moving water and you don't have a life jacket on, your chances of surviving when ejected from that vessel is basically nil. I don't think the jury has to concern themselves with the situation such that we have enough regulations statewide. People just have to use common sense. But the problem we have are the 6 drownings in open water, that is to say in the Gulf. More specifically, these drownings occurred since our breakers went in. It's an unfortunate consequence of having breakers in the water. And what we see is a set pattern. And these drownings, again, Rutherford Beach, Little Florida, and Long Branch, they all basically have the same pattern. What we see in these drownings is a combination of oceanographic and meteorological conditions and also on the individuals. Let me explain that. When it comes to our breakers, we basically have 2 styles of breakers in the parish. Rutherford Beach, for example, has that long 1.2 mile breaker with a few openings in the middle. Long Branch has the same. Little Florida, as you may know, has a staggered systems. One breaker line inbound, one breaker line outbound. The linear breakers seem to be more of a problem, but we've had drownings on all three. Basically what transpires, and again, to be comment, none of these deaths are parish residents. These are outside individuals from the area, from the state, a couple out of state. They don't know our beaches. They certainly don't know what high tide, low tide, or no tide is. So they come here without knowledge of how dangerous the Gulf can be. But what transpires and what we've seen this weekend, and it's classic, when we get a very strong south wind, usually more than 10 to 15 knots, around the time of high tide, or when tide levels, wave heights are a foot or more higher, we get a lot of water coming over the breakers. You can see them break over the breakers. As that water comes and break over the breakers, a couple things happen. The water loses its energy. You don't see waves going back out. So in order for the water to get out, it has to run parallel on the beach side of the breakers to go out. That causes significant undercurrent. When it goes off the ends, the middle openings, and the opposite end of the breakers, there's a very strong undercurrent, number one. Number two, when those waves crash onto the breakers, it pulverizes someone that's in the water. It slams you down up against the rocks on the Gulf side and basically acts as a basketball to bounce you against the breakers. Now, the solution is simple, if you ask me, and we have enough evidence now to know what's going on. The cure to this is basically keep people off the breakers, keep them away from the breakers. Without that, I promise you, we'll see more fatal drownings. To further compound this, let me just talk briefly about the near drownings. And I'm going to focus in on Rutherford Beach because that's living down there. That's where I have most of my information from. To date this weekend, we've had a total of 20 near drownings on Rutherford Beach since the stones went in. And by near drownings, I mean someone in the water, they need assistance either from family, bystanders, or deputies to get out of the water. They may or may not have bruises. They may or may not need to run to the hospital. But we've had 20. In fact, this weekend, not only had we the drowning, we had 3 near drownings. In fact, one of the individuals was with the gentleman that drowned. This individual jumped in the water to try to save him. 27-year-old man, in good shape. He thought he was going to drown. He had to abort the rescue mission. But of those 20 drownings, again, they're all associated with the breakers being either on them or near them. Now, in the past, we've talked about this last year to the prior jury. Again, my position is simple. I mean, if we can get some sort of ordinance to keep people off the rocks and give our sheriff's department the authority to keep people off the rocks, we can resolve the issue. Without that, in my opinion, we're going to continue to have more drownings indeed. You know, you may have to talk to our DA because I guess there's some issues on what can or cannot be done. But this is basically, obviously, a life-saving proposition to keep people off the rocks. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Yeah, Doc, on Rutherford Beach, do we have, which I'm, maybe Mr. Shane, I know we got a beach organization. Do we have anything up stating about the riptides, maybe given, okay, so we do.
Let me focus on that too, Mark. That's a good point. These are not riptides. In fact, I live down in Rutherford Beach now. I've not seen a riptide ever in Rutherford Beach. A riptide is a specific current issue where we have a body of water coming in and a wedge is made where a body of water then goes out. Now, that's a definition of a riptide. What we're experiencing are not riptides. What we're experiencing is undertow. I've been in communication with Jefferson Parish. You may know there was a 13-year-old boy last week that actually drowned in Grand Isle. He was in a rip current. His body was taken out to sea. They did recover him, but that's a rip current. What we have, though, is just an undertow. Those waves hit the rocks. They're pushing the bodies down up against the rocks. Even on the autopsies, even the autopsies are different. When we have a rip current, usually come out of the water pristine, unless you hit coral or a fixed object or someone chews on you, some fish chews on you. It's a pristine autopsy. Our autopsies are not pristine. When you're pummeled against those rocks in the water, you're not coming out pristine. So it's really not a rip current, a rip tide, though, Mark. We have that information there. This is really an undertow. And, let me just say, too, this rescue, this gentleman, I want to compliment Deputies Hebert and Deputies Leger. How they got this gentleman out of the water, over the rocks. They started CPR on him. They put AIC defibrillator on him. They tried to defibrillate him. They continued CPR until the ambulance came. How those two deputies were able to do that is still beyond me. The gentleman was humongous. And that's the other factor too. Without any interventions, we're making our deputies become lifesavers, lifeguards, and they're not trained to do that. And I keep on bringing this up. I'm a former Navy aviator, and I will tell you we go through plenty of water training. And open water training is not like learning to swim in your pool. A lifeguard in a swimming pool is nothing like a lifeguard in open water. And fortunately, our deputies, we just can't not have them in the water or bystanders. Fine example, we almost had a second drowning of this 27-year-old male couldn't get out of the water. So whatever can be done to keep people away from the danger zone, off limits,
Mr.
be
Chairman,
helpful.
don't the signage address the fact to stay off the rocks?
Yeah, and see how much it helps.
I know. My point being is we can maybe keep them off the rocks, but it's the proximity to the rocks that's causing the problem. They could be swimming 10 feet from the rocks and get caught in the undertow.
Yes, it's both the ends or the openings. In fact, one of the three near drownings we had this weekend, one was at our usual end, the east end, where we have the problem, and the second one near the opening on the west end. As the water goes around, it sucks you around onto the Gulf side. If you're swimming at the ends of those rocks, conditions are right, it's going to suck you in. In fact, we rescued I got the chance to interview a 51-year-old male that we rescued last year. This gentleman, classic story, said he was at the side of the rocks, he got swept in, went to his hands and knees. Now, a 51-year-old male, he said, the force was so bad, I couldn't get myself off the bottom of the water. I kept on being slammed up against the rocks. He got out because his two son-in-laws were able to get in and drag him out. But he said he couldn't get himself out of the water by his own powers. So, but whatever can be done in terms of keeping people off the rocks, that's the only option I see right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Justin Blanchard.
I'm new to this. I live at I used to live at 105 Myers Lane. I think Mark is our.
Please, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I got a notice in the mail about tearing down our home, and I have been trying multiple things, of course, to get rid of it and restore. So I have been through. We actually got a SBA loan and relocated after the storm. We live in Ragley now, and all my family still lives there. Well, I got with Restore Louisiana, and I plan to rebuild there. I hit two obstacles during that. Restore wants me to pay up the SBA loan before they apply any money to rebuilding here. After that being said, I did kind of I was starting to find a loophole. Well, insurance, of course, I mean, everybody knows how much insurance is out here. It is more than my house note where I am. So I kind of just put that on a hold. I do plan to eventually do something with it. I was more than $150,000 cash into where it is. And it's just hard to keep coming up with extra money for it currently while, trying to continue life where I am. I'm not sure if it's just something that it's hurting the parish or if it's something somebody's complaining on seeing it. I understand it's an eyesore. I mean, I guess if it was next to me, I would feel it the same way. I'm just trying to figure out what can be done with it besides, of course, paying someone. I have somebody possibly to pay to do it right now. He's a little backed up, but I'm just trying to get an idea on how long I have, what needs to be done. We need a place to dump it. Do I need to have it sent somewhere?
I think the main goal of all this, like I said, Ms. Robin kind of brought up to my attention, and I think it's something that our permit department kind of has to get things moving and done. But I think ultimately our responsibility is to help the people. So, like I said, I would suggest stay in touch with Ms. Robin or reach out to myself, because like I said, I'm here to help. I work for you. I'll go out my way to try to find any alleyway possible. Just keep us updated. I'm not looking to really hold people's feet to the fire and make them do anything. But at the same breath, I think our permit department has a job to do, and I'll have to support whatever we have to do on paper. But Miss Robin, I believe, is on vacation this week. But contact her or myself, and I'm more than sure we're willing to work and seeing where we can go forward.
Okay, currently my father-in-law and them have the house next door to me, and theirs, of course, isn't in this right now because they actually got in with FEMA to have the tear down.
Yeah.
We missed the FEMA possibility because I got approved for Restore, which, like I said, Restore pretty much went out the window because they want me to come up with $200,000 to start, and I've been trying to figure out how to keep that going. I got a new name recently. I went to a trailer company and they just gave me a name of somebody to contact on it. And I don't know if y'all have anything that y'all ran into, like to be able to still get in with Restore or with FEMA on getting rid of this. I'm not sure if you've heard of anything or if I should just contact you later about that. If you,
I think Miss Robin, but I don't think we really have anything open at the moment,
Yeah.
my understanding. But I think Miss Robin would be the best go-to person.
Okay.
And if you have any trouble or anything like that, I mean, like I said, that's what I'm here for. We're just trying to kind of move forward, but at the same time, I don't want to twist nobody's arm.
yeah, I just wanted to come in today to see if we had a time frame or if, you know, I understand it needs to happen
Yeah.
eventually. I'm just trying to get an idea. I don't want to go a month down the road and they tear it down and I have to pay double because they paid somebody to tear it down.
I would hope before we get to that point, you would at least be notified.
Yeah. I don't currently get mail there. They don't allow me to have a mailbox. They don't. They didn't. It's like it makes a route before it makes it to me. Do I need to update that somewhere here?
Yeah, I'd be glad to take care of
Okay.
it, knowing I just
Are there any immediate neighbors living next to
They
you?
have it now?
Honestly, I don't think none of these letters are off of complaints. I think it's something that they're just kind of following up on. They've been kind of busy the last 3.5 years with other things.
Yeah.
And I know the letters got dates, but like I said, my goal is I'm here to help the people and work with y'all. So,
Yeah, I just wanted to come in today to ask. I sat down with my father-in-law after and just, there's houses from 2006 that are still standing that I doubt they got this note. I'm just trying to,
Yeah, I know a lot of people that's in the program with FEMA. They have I think Miss Robin got letters in their file, so they don't have, they're not receiving letters because they got a plan of action. So I guess for yourself and anybody else that's listening or watching, and I mean, reach out to Miss Robin, us, kind of give them a little game plan, let them know what y'all going
Okay.
through or whatnot. It gives us an idea, you know, because at the end of the day, sometimes, you know, we just don't know. And the more communication we have between the police jury and the residents, the better it'll be for both of us.
and do with the question on where I would dispose of it. If I did it personally with my own dump trailer, can I use our personal dump?
I don't think so by looking at Miss Katie and Mr. Shane.
It needs to go to a certified landfill.
Do we have, I've never had to use one. Do we have a certified landfill
There's
within
a few in
reason?
Calcasieu Parish.
So it's all the way to Calcasieu.
What about, because I know the biggest problem with houses is either like shingles, you know, stuff we can't get rid of. If he separates that.
And that's what I would separate as much as possible. I wouldn't
Would he be able to utilize a dump if he separated from
What is
hazardous material?
It's a home, it's a full, it's a 2,800 square foot home.
We normally don't,
It no longer has metal or anything, it lost all that during the storm. It has some shingle left that was under the metal. I don't know. There's a lot of tar paper, there's a lot, I mean, I know there's gonna be a lot of that, so. I've dumped a lot of, I actually had another home there that we tore down beforehand, because we moved this home from another address in Cameron Parish.
I don't think we can accept things we aren't permitted to accept.
yeah, it'd be basically a construction and demolition landfills, what you'd be looking for.
So, but if I come up and it was just a trailer of wood and then just a trailer of metal, or just, I could still go dump that, I mean.
Oh, I don't think anybody, as long as it's,
That's what I'm saying, I mean, it would be multiple loads, of course, it's never gonna just,
I mean, as long as it doesn't look like a mixed pile. of
as long as I didn't just
material.
tear a pile of the house off and throw it, yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna go.
And is there any permit against burning wood? I'm not gonna burn the house, of course, I would, as I dismantle.
It's be vegetation, anything that's not vegetation has limitations on it.
Okay, but it wouldn't hurt anything if like I said, if it was mainly wood, no black smoke, of
Best
course.
thing to do is consult one of the local fire departments and they'll let you know all the,
Okay,
correct.
I'm just trying to figure out options, I mean, I've been quoted up to $10,000 to remove it, so it's kinda.
Yes, I got one of my cards. I'd like you to contact me, and I'd like to maybe give you some options and help you, because I've been talking. Yeah. Yeah, I've been having, quite a few people call me, and there's a lot of options on the table and stuff, and we'll just be looking to working together in the future. And the main goal is to at least let Permit know, that the goal's
Yeah.
coming up, and we'll definitely work together. And
And that's why we're still trying to keep the grass cut there, everything like that, just
yes, sir.
trying to, I guess, see what needed to be done today.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Like I said, if you
Appreciate
can, contact me as soon as you can, and then, I don't know how long Miss Robin will be out, but we got other people in the permit department. We could let them know, and then we'll find a plan of action to move forward.
Okay.
Right.
And
Thank
do
you,
y'all have
Mr.
anything
Justin.
else today that'll be on this subject? Should I stay? And
I think there's a couple more if you want.
okay, that's what I'll do. I'll wait and see. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, Mr. David Doxey.
Okay, I'm here because y'all have a complaint against my neighbor on 135 Bonsall Street in Cameron. Clean as trash up, they says. I've never heard of an ordinance like that before, and I know everything's new, and I live on that street. It doesn't matter to me. A woman next door asked me if she could put up a trailer park. I said, you can put a Ferris wheel up on your land. I don't care. That's his land. He does what he wants to do. That's his business. But now y'all want to go in there and take his stuff off and clean up his area. Well, if you want to start cleaning up area, start from either the ferry and work your way. Just don't pick a spot just because somebody doesn't like what they see. It doesn't really matter to me. And I just don't know how y'all make a decision on anything with a 1 hour meeting, like I'm talking to y'all about this, and then an hour later y'all vote.
What neighbor are you referring to, Mr.
I'm
Davis?
the only one y'all gonna have up here in a second,
What's his name?
Paul
Mr.
Alexander.
Paul Alexander and two other individuals. Those three was singled out, in my opinion, from the previous jury. In my district, I told permitting that if they're gonna do anything like that, they're gonna do all or none.
Well, I tell you what.
I wanna
you
point
do.
that out.
Yeah, just if you want to, when you leave out of Cameron, drive down Dan Street. You got two homes that are completely done, and you have a junk pile on the end bigger than what Paul's got. And Paul's got a business. He's got to run all over the place. He keeps his grass cut, but he's got stuff that's been there, hurricane after hurricane after hurricane.
What business is that, Mr. Doxey? What is this?
Long
about?
ass-
Y'all talking about me, if I can approach a bench.
Absolutely.
I was a little tardy, but I had something to do. Okay.
My place.
So David filled out the green card.
Well, I know he did because let Mr.
Go ahead, we'll
Johnson
give you
know.
an opportunity.
Well, thank you very much. Cause I let him know that I would be running late, so he come to do this for me. So, I ain't got no beef with nobody. I don't, like none of the stuff, well, some of the stuff that the council agrees on. I don't come down here and fuss. I try to be to myself, but if y'all gonna start on me, I mean, I can't be huffy. That's up to y'all. Now, I got him on my behind for being here late. I respect. None of y'all, I don't respect at all. Until y'all show me what y'all gonna do. Which one of y'all is the one for Cameron Parish, right here, in this district?
I am.
Do you live in Cameron Parish, partner?
I do.
Where?
Johnson Bay.
I don't believe that to be true.
I don't.
You might have a residence there.
Oh, you don't have a residence there, you own a piece of land there.
I have a home there.
All right, guys. Hey,
That you renting.
Look,
Hey,
you
we're
want
here to
take
talk
up
about
after
it.
me, we'll take it up after me, but I have a home there. That's my home.
So you the one imposed it on me, went through a bunch of hurricanes, through a divorce, trying to keep my business running, and y'all gonna start fussing at me because I got a few things on the side of the road. First of all, the big road, y'all ain't got no business with. That's the state. The other side, the truck that I got, the only thing in violation is plenty far off the road. It is on Bonsall Street. But, I mean, impose what you're gonna impose on me. Let me know what you're gonna do so it don't blindside me.
Usually when you get a letter like this, somebody's made a complaint, usually your neighbor, okay? Doesn't come from your juror, comes from a neighbor.
Miss Robin,
Has to be a neighbor.
Y'all refer to Miss Robin. When I told her that she didn't have nothing on me,
Yeah.
and I asked her, well, who did, she said, well, I pass by it every day. So it might have been her.
Well, main thing that when you get a letter like this, they wanna know what you plan on doing. Are you gonna fix your house?
If I thought I needed to let y'all know, I'd send y'all a memo. That ain't none of y'all business. I'll do what I mean, I may be wrong. I don't know the laws. I try to stay out of this mess. Because this is how I get when I get up in here in this mess. Got a lot of stress on me now. So if y'all wanna kick me around, y'all do whatever y'all got to do. I might respect Mr. Daigle a little bit, but I don't know the rest of y'all. But that's all I got to say.
I'm the only one that lives on the street besides the two rent houses. And, I haven't filed anything. So I don't know who would file that unless it was somebody else that think they could file it.
And Mr. Paul, hold on,
I
Mr.
gotta go
Paul.
back to work.
Mr. Paul, you got a second? I just want you to know I'm here for the people. I'm here to help.
Yeah, but dude, you can't help me. You ain't got nothing to do with my district.
I'm
Oh,
not
yeah, you
your
can
juror.
help.
I'm
We
not
all
a
can,
juror,
we all
but-
can help. If you wanna work together with us, we don't have a problem with that.
I ain't got no problem with working
And
together.
we're not asking you for a timeline that says what day exactly anything's
Well,
gonna be done. But
when Ms.
what we are
Robin
asking,
called me to let me know, because I done got one of them letters, and I didn't comply, she called me to let me know that y'all wanted to talk to me. I didn't know that I had to sign no green ticket. They had a problem at my house when I left. Not here in Cameron. I got multiple houses. Probably pisses people off. I don't care. I work hard for a living. I pay my taxes. I don't see why somebody should be bullying me around. Just for instance, I had 2 trucks on the same road. I had a gut feeling that something was wrong. I moved them trucks. The next day, y'all had implemented, because it had an orange tag on it. Y'all implemented somebody to come in and take them. I moved them to the other side of the road, way out of where they was at. I almost had to shoot one of the truck drivers because he was gonna take my truck. Now, that's the only way I know how to defend myself, or somebody taking my stuff right in front of me.
We will be checking with Robin on this, find out what the,
Well, that had nothing to do with Robin. That was a year or two ago. I've been trying to comply with you guys. It just takes a little time. The first hurricane that come through was Rita. Okay? I kind of got with the people with FEMA that was picking up the trash because I had a tractor. I tried my best to do everything I could for everybody. And made a little money on the side. Guy told me, because he had been doing multiple hurricanes, it takes 5 years to recover if you got the money. And you don't have something like a divorce going in your brain. So, sorry I'm huffing. Calming down now. Y'all wanna work with me, I'm gonna be glad to work with y'all. But I ain't being bullied around by nobody no more.
look, we will work with you. We will work with you.
Well, I hope y'all do. And I'm gonna hold you to it.
That's what we're here for.
Well, I'll start coming to this board meeting to see if I can help in some kind of way or give some suggestions.
There you go.
I just want to let you know I'm the only one on the street, and I haven't filed nothing.
That's good to know. That is good
Thank
to
you,
know.
Dave.
Ms.
Okay?
Gay.
Mr. Paul,
Appreciate y'all.
it wasn't Mr. David that turned you in.
I know that.
And it wasn't me.
Thank you.
Well, that's cool.
Ms. Gay.
Y'all both big as me, but I
If I
mean,
may, just to
don't
say it
come
on
down.
record, I would like to revisit with Mr. Randy and yourself on this issue and see what's the legality and how everything transpires.
Okay.
Like I said, because the last thing I want to do is have a citizen, get to that point and feel like we're not here to help. So,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, review the voting agenda.
Mr. President, for the motion to adopt, for the motion for add-ons, I'd like to request to add on Recreation District Number 6, and Mr. Sonny's a part of it with me, and hopefully he'll agree. I'd like to do the revised statute 334564, states that the rec board must have at least 5 members, but no more than 7. I would like the rec 6 board to have 5 members instead of 7 due to the decrease of population and basically the lack of support to, be on the board.
And I'll agree with that.
Thank you, Mr. Sonny.
President, is 7 members, guys?
Yes, presently 7. We'd like to go down to 5 where the quorum goes to a 3.
Is that gonna take,
Okay, so the revised statute reads that you can have at least 5, no more than 7. So we're just gonna add it on to recognize we would like 5 members instead of 7, still staying in the revised statute.
but do we have to wait on legislative action?
No, it's already in there.
Hey, guys, we got another green card. Everybody okay with that? Clayton Davis.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Clayton Davis. I'm a judge in Calhoun Parish. I apologize for failing to follow the green card protocol. And but I had set up this time a couple of weeks ago by calling your clerk. I'm a candidate for the Court of Appeal. I've been a district judge with a civil and criminal docket in Calhoun for 16 years, and I practiced law in Calhoun for 27 years before that. I am a registered Republican, and I've been a Republican for 43 years. I was on the State Central Committee, and I was the treasurer of the Republican Party in Louisiana for a couple of years. Tried my first jury trial right across the street, Harmon Bork versus Chevron and McCall Crew Boats. I represented Norman McCall in his crew boat company on a personal injury case. But you never forget your first jury trial, and especially down here, it's colorful, it was fun. I'm honored to have the support of the district attorney and the sheriff in Calhoun Parish, and I'm honored to have the endorsement and support of Mr. Barrett here in Cameron, and we're working on more. I've got Lynn Jones in Calcasieu, the clerk of court, has endorsed me, and Mayor Danahay, Representative Tarver, and the parish Republican Executive Committee in Calcasieu has endorsed me as well. So I'm humbled and honored to have all that. And I'm adopting Miss Rocca. She doesn't know this yet, but I'm adopting her as my coordinator in Cameron Parish, officially as of right now. She said I was a hometown boy when I talked to her this morning, so I'm going to run with that. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not huffy. That's not my nature. I love you all. You're wonderful public servants. I understand public service. I love it myself. So I'm just here to let you know what's going on and to introduce myself. If you have any questions, happy to answer any. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President,
Yes.
with this time, we'd like to have our staff address a few agenda items. Do you allow it? Kara Bonsel's going to come up first. She's going to talk about agenda item 19, D through H, and 24.
Good morning. So starting with agenda item 19D is contract amendment number 1 with Louisiana Department of Energy and Natural Resources. This current term was from November 1st, 23, and it ends June 30th, 2024. So we need to extend this term to December 30th, 2024 in order to complete the construction of the Rockefeller Wildlife Shoreline Stabilization ME35 project. These funds were allocated by DNR, and so further down the agenda, we had an additional allocation of $2 million of $2 million, and it's the 2022 state surplus extension dollars. And this will continue west of the Rockefeller Shoreline project currently under construction. So these funds were actually dedicated to Calcasieu Parish. And we had got word from CPRA, Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority, that they wanted to dedicate these funds to this project that was ongoing. And so that's why it's called state surplus extension dollars of $2 million. So E would be entering a new IGA with CPRA and the parish to continue the construction of the project. With that, we will have to have a change order. So this is change order number 3, F. So the contractor will need additional contract days to finish out the project. He's asking for 161 days and a contract amount increase by $1,760,288. Going down to G, we have a contract amendment number 2 with Fenstermaker. That's our professional service contract. So anytime you have additional funds allocated to a project, you're going to have professional fees. And so they're asking for a compensation of $113,200. So item D, E, F, G is related to the ME35 project. Do y'all have any questions with that? Now H is we have an existing cooperative endeavor agreement with the Office of Community Development, who administers the CDBG MIP funds for the Mermentau Basin Inundation and Relief Project. And that term is needed to be extended, as well as they have some updated HUD compliance language that they need to incorporate into the CEA. So we need to extend the term from March 31st, 2025, and they're asking it to be extended March 31st, 2027. Any questions?
I had a question.
You got a question?
On 19, you're not asking for any funding from the jury itself, you're just asking
No.
for allocation of funds from CPRA?
That's right. Correct. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, agenda item 24, consideration of bids. This was for the Mermentau Basin Project, Element 1, which is the East End Lock rehabilitation. We just had a bid opening May 16th, and we received 2 bids, and the apparent low bidder was Cajun Industries. We've had 2 bids submitted. The other was M&C Oilfield. Cajun was actually the lowest, but they lacked, when they submitted the bid, they lacked evidence of a certificate or authority of the person executing the bid on behalf of Cajun Industries. So that would make Cajun Industries bid non-responsive. So we're asking for the second low bidder of M&C would ultimately be the lowest bidder. And we have reached out to our legal counsel with this, and Tom, if you want to say any words to this, please feel free to do so. Cajun has been given notice of this through Mr. Tom Barrett, and so OCD, who is administering these funds, we've sent it to them, and they've told us and gave us the approval to proceed. So, Tom, do you want to say anything?
So Cajun was the low bidder. They were disqualified as being non-responsive. And there's been several emails back and forth citing legal precedents and statutes and whatnot. And we did get a letter from their attorney asking you all to consider the next lowest or the only other bidder, which is M&C, to be non-responsive as well. But we've concluded with staff that it is in fact responsive. So anyway, I just want to, if you have any questions, I mean, a lot of that behind the scenes lawyer stuff, but we're clear to go with accepting M&C.
You expecting any opposition past that point?
No. In fact, the lawyer's letter to me that we got, I saw it this morning. I don't know when it actually came. Probably came Friday. But all but recognizes that we have the right and probably should reject his client's, the low bid, because it was non-responsive. It didn't have the right information or all the information. His letter really focused on the fact of trying to convince you all to disqualify the other bidder as being non-responsive because of the bid price being in excess of what the estimate, the engineer's estimate was. What the attorney didn't probably have all the information is that, in fact, with M&C's bid, which was a little bit over the estimate, but it's still within the $25 million grant or appropriation. In fact, after all after you account for all the money that's spent to date, engineering, so forth, and M&C's bid, we actually have 1.5 million of excess or unobligated money. But now we still have a third part or third element of the project that's not bid out. But again, the estimates to complete or to do that third part is only about half of what we still have in reserve. That all makes sense. I mean, bottom line is M&C is the appropriate bid to accept at this time. So I don't know if that answers your question, but his letter recognized that M&C, that his client is non-responsive, and he's just trying to convince you all that M&C is non-responsive as well, so you disqualify everybody and start over. But we don't feel that's the appropriate thing to do. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Ms. Kara, that's the East End Locks on Rockefeller, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Correct. Y'all have any other questions for me?
Or any permit questions?
Permits? Good. We received Drainage Board approval on all permits, so.
Is there any limitations on time if it was to table that?
I mean, what would you table it on?
Just to find more information out?
Well,
What? I'm just asking, is there limitations in time?
What's the question?
Which topic
If
are you
you would-
talking about? The
You're talking about if
bidder
you
or
would
the
table the
permit?
bid?
Yeah.
There's a limitation of time.
We don't have,
You don't
unless
have
you
to-
can have a special meeting in the next, say, 2 weeks, you have 30, say a 30-day window from the opening of the bids. Is this on the Mermentau deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, getting back to, no, my recommendation would not be to table it again unless you're willing to have a special meeting, you know. If you want another week or 10 days, but you need to make a decision in a timely fashion, and your next meeting will be too long.
So as it stands legally, we got a green light to go. And,
Yes.
from my understanding, M&C's, you know, locally within the parish, and it sounds like everybody's good with that.
Yeah. Had Cajun something, submitted the corporate resolution or the certificate. I mean, it's a required element of the project, because John Doe signed the bid. Well, we don't know who John Doe is. We don't know if John Doe has the authority to obligate Cajun. Because had we accepted Cajun might have come back and said, well, wait a minute, we underbid that. In their minds, they may think they underbid it. John Doe doesn't have authority to bind us. So it's required that if it's a corporation, an LLC, or partnership, there has to be some documentation that identifies that that person has the authority to bind that company. Because without it, we're, you know.
So under what precedents are they saying that?
The statute says you gotta have it. Our bid package says you gotta have it.
I know that part of it, but I'm talking about M&C. Why was they saying that we should?
No, M&C's good with everything.
I know that you said that Cajun mentioned that M&C should be considered non-responsive. Under what terms are they considered non-responsive?
Because their bid exceeded the estimate by 10%. But that estimate wasn't the full 25 million. It was just for elements 1 and 2, or parts 1 and 2. And even though they did exceed that, if you decided that you wanted to start all over, you probably would have just cause because they exceeded that estimate. But even though they exceeded the estimate, there's still plenty of money to finish the project. It's not, you're right. If we hadn't had enough, if they'd have come in at 26 million and we only have 25 appropriated, then yeah, we'd have a problem. But we're $1.5 million under budget right now, even with M&C.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
So we're good to go.
Thank you.
Our Public Works Director, Mr. Shane Manuel, has a few items to talk over with you guys, and then I'll go last.
Could be the longest.
Yes.
Johnson Bayou Trash Pickup, I don't, is it in there back in there? I got any questions on that one? Item 20.
I got one question. If we go with the trash pickup, is that gonna affect the dump sites hours or anything?
I didn't get that answer. What was it? Okay.
No.
Is it gonna affect the hours of the dump sites?
No, we're gonna leave it open.
Or the hours there similar to Sweet Lake?
They open
Van Lake?
7 days a week in Hollywood.
And then summertime, we got.
Yeah, well-
And trash pickup, would be nothing but a.
Crabs and
Yeah.
all that kind of waste. Then I don't believe y'all have a lottery in y'all's packet. That one there is 62 houses at $18.96 per home, $1,175.52 a month, which is $14,106 a year. Mr. Johnny. And Miss Beverly's here if y'all got any questions for her.
Shane, none of which is businesses or RV parks, correct?
No, sir. Just houses and camps.
Johnny?
Good? Thank y'all.
Thank you, Shane.
Okay, gentlemen, I have a few agenda items. The first is going to be the HR position. You gave us authority to advertise for a human resource director. It's creating a new position. We had an overwhelming response of applicants, very qualified, and it's a good problem to have. So we actually want to do another round of interviews with our top 3 candidates. And so we're going to ask you to table this agenda item, and we will come back to you with a recommendation next month.
Item 23.
Yeah, item 23. And then the fun one, millage rates. I think everyone's had a chance to look at what our projections are. So as a jury, just so the public knows that you have to come in and levy your tax annually. You're levying your tax now. You'll actually collect them at the end of this year, and that's the funds that you're going to use for your 2025 budget. So the only thing that this jury is actually in charge of levying are the ones that are on the screen. You make up about 1/3 of overall ad valorem taxes that are paid in the parish. The sheriff's office has several taxes they levy, the school board does. You have all your ancillary districts within your community. So for the most part, your parish-wide ad valorem taxes that provide just your basic services to your residents are listed at the top. General fund, road and bridge, courthouse and jail, health unit, and garbage, and then library. Those are parish-wide taxes. Everyone pays an equal amount based off their assessed values. So that's what we're really going to look at today. You cannot go above your adjusted max meal without doing some extra advertisements, but as long as you're prepared to levy a tax that are either equal to or less than what's in your adjusted max meal column, we can do that today with a motion. If you kind of want to go through it, this is just based off of prior year expenditures, estimations that were done by your parish treasurer, which is Kayla Johnson. So what we're looking at right now, we open the year 2024, column L. So we're just going to look at the general fund for the most part. That you're going to open the year with $8.5 million roughly. You're looking at taking a $4.4 million loss this year. What's in your budget, the account for the loss is you have $2 million set aside for Grand Lake Rec. You have $1 million set aside for hurricane disaster recovery efforts. And then you have the other $1 million is for some capital outlay projects. You're doing your North Cameron EOC, you had allocated $800,000. So that's about, it's a large loss, $4.4 million, close to 4.5. If you don't spend it, then of course it goes back into your surplus. But if you spend everything that you have budgeted today, we're expecting to take a $4.4 million loss. And then in 2025 budget, based off of one-time expenditures, your insurance and everything, you're looking at 2025's only taking about a $700,000 loss. So assuming that you levied your full amount, which is 4.04 mils, good, I can move it from here. I have the mouse. Thank you though, Derek. Assuming that at the end of 2025, you would close the end of 2025 with $5.3 million, which is not really a healthy fund balance for your general fund, considering you subsidize everyone else, and that's your only unrestricted funds. You would ideally like to get that number up, but that's what you're looking at if you levy the full amount. So our staff's recommendation is to levy the full amount. Road and bridge, same thing. It's historically underfunded. We have to take care of all of the parish roads, limestone, grass cutting. You pay your road and bridge employees out of it. So we're going to recommend that you levy the full amount as well. You're looking at, on a good day with no hurricanes, you could get your fund balance up to 1.5 million, but that's on a good day. I understand that some of you want to prioritize doing some road improvement projects, maybe some overlay, some striping projects. That goes very fast. Courthouse and jail, same thing. It is a pretty healthy fund balance. That's what pays for operations of courthouse and jail and all of your court services. If you levy the full amount, which we recommend you do, you could potentially get your fund balance up to $2 million. It's important to have a good fund balance in your courthouse and jail because, again, if you do have a hurricane, you have to go in and get those services back up and running. You need a good surplus to go pay it forward, and then you can wait for your reimbursements from FEMA, or you wait for your reimbursements from insurance. But ideally, when you have prisoners, you can't wait 90 days for someone to give you money to take care of your prisoners. So you have to keep that balance, that fund balance pretty high. If there were two that you could maybe decide you didn't need to levy the full amount, you wanted to roll back, it would be your health unit and your library. As you can see, you have very healthy fund balance in both of those. Library, you're looking at a $5.8 million you could potentially have if you don't even levy a tax at all this year. Same thing for health unit. If you don't levy a tax at all, $1 million you could still have at the end of 2025. The only other one that I kind of just grazed over was garbage. It does look like it's very healthy, 10.5 million, but again, this is one that you want to have as high as you can, because after a hurricane, when you start doing debris removal, we spent $30 million for Hurricane Laura debris removal. We spent the 14 million of that 30 million in all. We had to wait 9 months to get reimbursed from FEMA. So if we wouldn't have had a healthy fund balance in our garbage and in our general fund, we would have had to shut down all operations, which Jennings and Jeff Davis Parish actually did because they couldn't pay their contractors, and they would just stop picking up trash. So that's the ones that we're looking at today. We can go through and look at your ancillary districts, mainly your fire districts, is what you're also in charge of. Most of you have talked to your fire chiefs. I think that they're saving up to purchase fire trucks and equipment. So we typically recommend to levy the full amount unless one of your fire chiefs tell you otherwise. But that's what we're looking at right now as a recommendation.
Just for clarification.
Yes, sir.
They are at the max now.
Yes.
We're not talking about rolling anything up. It's already at the max.
We're already at a max. We're recommending you rolling down library and health unit. It would save, what is that, almost 6.5 mills, which could save your average taxpayer if you had an assessed value of 10,000 as your assessed value. You could save about your residents about 50 to 60 bucks annually. And I think we do have some time. If you're not ready to vote on this today, it is on the agenda. If you're ready to go ahead and vote, it's there. If you're not ready and you want to take time to think about it, just table it. We do have time in July for you to levy it, but you do have to do it at the July meeting.
And I think there's a couple we know we need to roll back a little bit, so.
Yeah. Are there any that you would like to see? I actually have it open in Excel, and we could adjust the numbers if you'd like to see what that looks like, just so the public can see as well. You are good with the recommendations? Again, if you decide that you're not ready to vote on it, just table it. Okay, any other questions about the agenda for me? All right, good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Chairman, are you ready to review the agenda?
Yeah.
If so, I got some questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Item number E on the permits. Somebody want to tell me a little bit about that project?
Which one is it, son?
E?
EEC Offshore.
That's the, it's
Grand Chenier
in
Company.
Grand Chenier, where Harvest, the old Conoco plant was. That's the location.
Are they expecting an influx of boat traffic in the Mermentau with that? Or is that gonna be coming from upstream?
I have the permit, let me review it.
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
All right, other item I had was, number 12.
So number 12, number 11 is to include Klondike and Lowry in Ambulance Service District 2 created boundaries. Number 11 reads it, all we're doing is including Klondike and Lowry in Ambulance Service District 2 because they do not currently have an ambulance service for Klondike and Lowry.
Okay, Mr. Johnny, you good with that? Yes, sir. Good. I think that's, oh my gosh, let me check. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Sonny. Any other items, guys? Michael, Mr. Danny.
Good.
Number 16, Mr. President, did we get anybody in opposed to that?
No, sir, we did not.
Okay, thank you.
And just to let y'all know, I did have a few of y'all call item 21 to approve the Southwest Louisiana Criminalistics Laboratory. They do not charge us, that is Calcasieu Parishes, for like if we have to run DNA and stuff, but y'all have to approve their budget. But we do not get charged to utilize the services. So we'll have one add-on, Mr. President, to just recognize that we want a 5-member board for Rec 6 instead of a 7.
Okay, any other items?
No, there is one question I got. I think this has been brought up by you guys before. K&L on appointments has to do with the mosquito control. With the new districts, mosquito is kind of shifted up. We may want to look at these and allow certain people to have a pick that, not so much to add on to the number of people we have, but to move some of the ones we got as they resign. Just so it's fair to everybody. I think Cameron would need a representative, Creel would need a representative, Hackberry, and then we have to divide it up as best we can after that. Those big areas would need a.
I know currently Klondike Lowry does not have a rep on the mosquito board.
I don't have one in District 6.
Yeah,
But there's several in that area, but there may be 2 in your area, or there may be 1 in somebody else, or none in somebody else there. We can move that around if necessary. That's all I'm saying is we have a chance, not so much to change the district or anything else, but to move the people as they resign. Don't want to take nobody off unless there's a reason.
Yes, I know I got 2 in my district, and I'm open because I'd like to see the parish equally representative. But the only thing is if they don't have nobody, I would like to keep it full. But if they do, I'm all open-minded for you, and I think.
Only as they resign, I wouldn't want to take anybody off, especially the one doing a good job. It's hard to find people to do the job, period.
Yes.
But if we got somebody doing a good job, no. But as we have vacancies, we can move the people around. So I just want to make you all aware of that.
Do y'all have a?
We're gonna wait till the mosquitoes go away.
Okay.
And any expired terms you can table if you want to try to find a rep from the districts that do not have a rep.
Nobody wants them to fire me now?
No.
We don't have any mosquitoes, huh?
You don't have mosquitoes?
So you had to
Don't need any rep then.
I'll probably get strung up.
If that's the case, Hackberry needs 2.
We found out purple martins eat mosquitoes. If anybody wants birds, buy purple martins.
Katie, what is number 22 about? Consideration of approval for 3-year capital outlay plan for parish and transportation.
So that's actually Shane's agenda item, but it's basically you have to do a 3-year plan of road improvements. You have to submit it to the state, so he does have a list of roads that do need to be improved. It's in your packet. The problem is we never have the funding to do it, so most of the roads stay on the list.
But if we ever did it.
Any other items, guys?
Mr. President, if I may, can you give me about a 10-minute recess so I can get the agenda item taken care of?
Okay, motion adjourned.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Danny, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. We're gonna take about a 10-minute break.